Hey, what's up? I'm Anthony Ledon, and this is POAT Podcast. I'm very excited about this week's episode. We talk about everything from my morning pages routine and how you can start the day feeling like you've accomplished something. My joy in going to the dentist. I don't know if I really talk about that. I think I did. The reasons I wear a blazer and a suit. Hint, it's not because it's comfortable. And also why getting a shoe shine is one of the top 10 things that bring me joy. And last but not least, I talk about Bernie Sanders speaking out against Twitter for banning Trump. What? All that and more on this week's POAT Podcast. Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm your pal, Anthony. No, we're not going to do that intro. That's stupid. I am in such a good mood. I had a great session of morning pages. There's 4 reasons why I'm in such a great mood. I'm gonna go down the list. Number 1, I had such a great morning pages session this morning. This is if you read my newsletter a couple of weeks ago, you'll know that I talked about a topic called morning pages, which is the gist of it is you just write 3 pages in a notebook first thing in the morning ish, and it's stream of consciousness. No one's ever going to see it. No one's ever going to read it. And that's the point. You just write. And the nice thing about it is you start the day feeling like you accomplished something. Now, I know for some of you, just waking up is an accomplishment. And I salute you for that. If you do want a little bit kind of a stretch goal, though, I would highly recommend the morning pages thing for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it is so fun to use tools that I love using. Let me explain. As I'm looking for, there it is. This notebook and this pen together, I use a Rhodia, it's an orange Rhodia notebook and a green pen, a Pilot. It's a fountain pen, but it's a Pilot pen, and it's cheap. You'll feel like $1 million using it. It makes you look like an asshole, but it's phenomenal. It's the cheapest way to look rich. So I think this is what the 1% kind of feels like. But it's nice because I love the combination. It writes, it's so smooth. I get now why people write. They have like those leather pads on their desks when they're writing things. It's an incredible experience. And I wonder if the end product of using these tools isn't somehow improved by using the tools that you love. So for instance, I'm a Mac guy. I'm an iPhone guy. I'm an Apple guy. And part of the reason I love Apple so much is I love the feeling of the thing, right? My MacBook Pro, I just absolutely love it. It feels solid. I love creating things with it. My iPhone, I love holding it. It feels solid. You know, like I'm wielding it every single time I have it. I never got that sensation with an Android device. That feels plastic. It feels light. And this, I do mean to start a flame war between the two, because I think one of them is great and the other one's an Android. But I like having a nice tool. You know, it feels good. It may not improve the end product. It's a hypothesis I have. I don't know if it's true, but it's fun to even think about. But I tell you, man, there's so much pleasure I derive out of writing with this pen and this notebook together. Oh, it's so nice. It's there's a certain amount of like content or joy that I think I derive out of using the tools that I like. Again, with Apple stuff, it's the same way. I don't care. So I used to be a PC guy, and I used to hate Apple stuff because you were locked into doing things their way, right? It was kind of weird. It's limiting. Okay, that's probably true, but I'm willing to sacrifice some of that stuff of not being able to upgrade certain things unless I do it, when I order it. Like upgrading RAM or something is a little more difficult. With your PC, I can build it from scratch. You know what I did? I built a computer from scratch, and guess what? It went up in flames. When I was in college, I found this great deal. I could build this laptop. It was so cool. Everybody thought it was amazing until one day, finals week, I'm not even kidding, I saw a puff of smoke come out the side. That's what I saw. I'm not even joking. It went, it's like, this paper sucks. I give up. You do this from now on. And yeah, I tried to fix it. I had it became basically a desktop because I had to take the power brick with me everywhere I went. It defeated the whole purpose of being mobile, of being a laptop. I put it on my lap, but then it would burn it. That to me is what PCs are. You have so much more flexibility. Yes, I know you can configure things. More RAM, more DRAM. No, I don't even know what the terms are now. It's been years. My GPU is better than your GPU. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. That's how I used to be. But now I would much rather have something that I can hold and it's pleasurable to use. The throw on the keyboard. And I know they've gotten a whole bunch of crap for their keyboards breaking and stuff. I've never had a problem with it. But it feels nice. Have you ever touched the outside of a MacBook Pro? It's just soft. It's elegant. It's like somebody cared when they designed it. It's like the difference between driving an American-made car and a Lamborghini. Not that I've driven a Lamborghini, or a Porsche. I have driven a Porsche, and I will tell you, it is a nice car to drive. It feels nice. Things belong in there. It doesn't feel like there's excess. It doesn't feel cheap on the inside. It's like real material, which is one of my favorite things, is real things. American cars, to me, Ford, I feel like, has done a better job in the last couple of years. Most American cars, they'll feel plastic and fake. Same thing with a lot of the Asian manufacturers. And I get that that's cheaper. Okay, I know. But I'm just saying, for me, I love it when it feels real. Heavy, real leather. It's soft, it's nice. Buttons with metal in them? What? Are you kidding me? It's incredible. So I love using tools, that feel, and I think this is a new lesson for me because I've used a lot of crappy stuff in the past. Mostly for cost reasons, right? Keep the cost down. But eventually I end up buying a nicer version of that thing anyway. But this becomes the quandary, right? When you are just putting your toe into something, dipping your toe. I have a guitar here. I'm not a guitarist. I took my first lesson yesterday, and I've been teaching myself on YouTube for a few months. Now, I don't think I'm going to become a professional guitarist. I think it's safe to say. So this $120 guitar sitting next to me might be okay. But who knows, 5 years from now, when I might actually appreciate the sound of a really expensive guitar, whatever those are called, whatever the Porsche of the guitar land is. I don't know. So yeah, I get it. I don't know. I mean, obviously hindsight, 2020. It's nice to go back in time, get the nicer thing, but how do we know? I don't know. Maybe that's the struggle. It's real. But anyway, that's the joy. Okay, so maybe the mistakes weren't so bad. Maybe the one, if you do take nothing else out of this, maybe the one service I can provide to you is if you're thinking about dipping your toe into something, maybe go all in. Maybe spend a little bit more money. You might enjoy that thing a little bit more. Anthony. Like my wife is getting into drawing. She practices every single day. And she's getting really good at the stick figure. She's good with male stick figures. She hasn't the hair on the female stick figure. It's a little trickier. So she's working on that. The longer hair, which I guess could be a male as well, and the short hair one could be a female. I mean, it's 2021. Stick figures. I don't know how they identify. But she's doing it. And I think she's, she kind of went through the same thing. She's slowly climbing up the ladder of buying nicer paper, for example. I don't know how big that scale is, that ladder. Maybe it's, I don't know, could be endless. But, there's new paper products coming into the home and it looks nicer. Anyway, I started doodling. Again, I'm just doing the torso of the stick figure. So I haven't gone all in. No head. No head for me. Not yet. That circle gets tricky. But yeah, so that's what I'm trying to figure out here on this little podcast. What about you, guys and gals out there? What are some things that you have experimented with? I'm curious to know. Have you gone whole hog and like bought the nice guitar or the expensive paper or the nice camera? Or do you kind of dabble a little bit? Do you just dip your toe? Maybe there's kind of a trade-off though, or not a trade-off, but maybe there's you can have it both ways. You can dip your toe in a little bit, think, all right, you know what? I'm 80% sure I'm really going to enjoy this, and then go buy, the Apple version of whatever thing you're doing. I mentioned the iPhone. I love holding it. I love typing on it. The swipe, everything. It's so clean. I know that I can't do a gadget or a widget for the specific thing, and I'm limited on apps, and the App Store people are Nazis. Okay, I understand. That's fine. I like holding it. I got my first new iPhone a couple of months ago. I was using the iPhone 7 Plus. And I was a late adopter to the 7 Plus, and now I'm on the 12 Pro, and I adore it. And I would rather get one new iPhone every, 5 years. I mean, Lord knows they're expensive enough, so that's fine. But I think that's the point. Anywho, but yeah, this is, if you're looking for a cheap way to really feel rich, a Rhodia notebook. It's French paper. I don't know why I think that makes a difference, but it's a French paper, and I think a Japanese pen, Pilot pen. I think it's like $15 on Amazon. So it's amazing. It's a fountain pen. So it looks, again, I said it's the cheapest way to feel like the 1%. Do they even write anymore? Do they have, hired help? Did the 1% just own slaves to write things for them? Anything that requires handwriting, signing? Just have him do it. Jacob, go sign my checks for me. Is that the 1%? I've never actually encountered a 1%er. Do they even exist? I don't know. Maybe it just stops at 99. Or 2, I guess, if you're looking at it that way. It just stops at 2%. There is a top 2%, and the 1% doesn't exist. Anyway, so that's my spiel about using tools that are nice and that are, I just love it. Even if nothing great comes of the thing, whatever medium you're working on. I hope it increases the amount of joy you get from doing the thing that you do. Well, you may actually find kind of like an inverse joy out of using the cheap stuff. I have been like that as well. I love the feeling of kind of being scrappy. I usually end up buying the nicer thing eventually. But there's something about scrapping together. I'm just going to see how long I can do this, with a stupid notebook and a cheapo pen. But you know what? If it works, why not? Do it. I don't even know who I'm talking to. No one's arguing with me on this. I don't know. It's just my thought. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about. Morning pages. This all started from morning pages. I highly recommend it. Three pages you write in the morning, and you feel like you've accomplished something. It's so nice. Maybe one of these days I'll share with you some of what I've been writing, which goes against. Yeah, we'll save that one for next week. I'm having a great morning this morning. I went to the dentist as well. They were very friendly. I love my dentist. Every month I go in just to say hi. I just go in, we just shake hands, shoot the shit, have coffee together. It's more of a social club, really. I mean, they look at my teeth. They just give me the thumbs up, nice teeth. And then I walk out. I pay them. But it's fun. I enjoyed the dentist. Actually, the gal, one of the techs, is that what they're called? Techs? Dental hygienists? I don't know what the degree is or what the job title is. She's really friendly. Reva, I think her name is. Love her. But she was saying, the Invisalign looks like it's coming along great. And then she's like, I'm salary. I don't get, compensated for this, but I think it was a good investment for you to do this. I'm like, were my teeth that bad before? And she said, yes. But she also said, when you do it when you're younger, you can basically amortize the cost of it over a longer period of time, which makes sense. So I don't know why I didn't do this when I was like 4, but so basically I felt bad going to the dentist. So maybe I didn't have such a great morning, but I thought that was a good point. I think you could make kind of an argument that self-improvement is the best kind of improvement, because if you can fix yourself or something that's wrong, then you get to enjoy it the most. You enjoy it 100%. And then other people might enjoy it a little bit as well. When you stop being such a jerk, you enjoy it because you just get along better with other people. And then, other people might enjoy being around you a little bit more too. I'm not going to start doing that. I'm enjoying the current level of jerkness that I have right now. So it's working for me, I guess. That's actually an interesting thought. It's a really easy to think about, those people. What's wrong with these people? Everyone around you. Something wrong with them. You could probably point it out. Just looking at them. And then when they talk, oh boy, this guy. You go tell your friend, can you believe this guy? He said this thing. Can you believe that guy who said this thing? That thing is stupid. Here's why. That guy is such a jerk, or whatever it is, and it's me. But it's really easy, at least I find it. Maybe you don't go around the world like this. Maybe you think maybe I'm the only one who it's really easy to see like, oh, that guy wearing that thing. That's what we're all doing now. Not me. But anyway, where I'm going with this is it's really easy to figure out what's wrong with other people. How often are we trying to figure out what's wrong with ourselves? I mean, for me, it's never, because, obviously, listen to me. What would you change? What would you fix? Don't answer that. But that's a question that I try to think about frequently. What am I doing every single day to make me a little bit better? And arguably, this is the best kind of selfishness there is. It's what about me? How do I make me better? Not by, taking from you, but by just making me less of something or more of something. And again, don't write in. I don't need your answers for this. This is a me thing. It's not you. Actually, it is. But that's something I would like to incorporate more, maybe into my morning pages exercise, or perhaps a morning reflection, is what am I doing today to make me better than you? No, than me. Actually, maybe that's it. What am I doing to make myself better today than you? And I'm talking to the me from yesterday. Right? That's a pretty big investment. It's a pretty wise investment, I think. Coming from a guy who makes unwise investments everywhere else in my life. Don't look at my stock portfolio. That's assuming I had one. I do. It's huge. That's what I'm just going to tell myself. But yeah, that's what am I doing today? I don't know. I don't have an answer. That's the thing. I'm just asking questions. And that's maybe a great place to start. Is if you ask yourself a little bit every single day, Anthony, what could you, maybe I don't know if I want to know the answer. That's the other thing. And you start looking at it, and like you might have a long list. In which case, just start with one of them. Maybe that's it. Maybe just pick the one in the middle. I'm in the middle of, I think this thought may be born out of a competition I'm in with my wife called life. No, it's we do this thing every once in a while. We call it Don't Be a Fatty. It's a game that we adopted from another game where it kind of deals with like health. I think I've talked about this, but the gist of it is you get 10 points every day for doing certain things. So if you eat under your calorie allotment, if you if you do 2 of your hobbies, if you exercise for 20 minutes, 5 fruits and vegetables, what else am I missing? 3 liters of water, gets 8 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep, whatever. There's eight things. Calories and exercise are worth 2 points apiece. Everything else is worth 1 point. And if you get up to a certain amount of points or average a certain amount over the course of a month, you get a prize. It used to be winner take all. It used to be a zero-sum game where one of us would win, the other one wouldn't. But we've switched it now to where both of us can. And so it's more like golf if you weren't playing against somebody else and you were just playing against par. So that's what we're doing. We're playing against yourself. And I think that may have influenced this line of thought where it's, what am I doing to improve myself? So my 2 hobbies are, actually morning pages is one hobby. It's we add 2 things each that we try to incorporate into our lives, like that we want to become regular things that we do. And I'm also practicing guitar. That's my thing. And you can keep track of it on a nice little spreadsheet, which is what I do. And then I at the end of every week or so, I update this in a digital spreadsheet called Notion so that we can track it and we can both see it. Anyway, long story short, it's fun. You should play it. Anyway, what else? Oh, let me pause for station identification. Okay. The other thing is, when I went to the dentist this morning, I wore a blazer. It was 50 degrees out, and this is kind of I could have worn a light jacket, but I wanted to wear a blazer because I wanted to feel normal again. And there's a lot of people walking around. It's New York, so that's what people do. But there's a lot of people walking around that aren't dressed up. That's fine. You don't need to be dressed up. But there's a lot of people just wearing like sweatpants and stuff. And okay, whatever you need to do. But here's my thoughts on dress and clothing and what's wrong with people. This is what's wrong. This is one of the things where I fixed myself, according to me, and I can point out exactly what's wrong with you. You're wearing sweatpants outside in a city. What are you thinking? And tennis shoes? Oh, I mean, with like tennis shoes with like a nice clothing. Anyway, that's another thing. I know it gets hard to walk around in like heels or dress shoes. Whatever. I'm not going to get mad at that. But the people are wearing very comfortable clothing. And I don't like that because I think the point of clothes is to be a little bit uncomfortable. I don't think men wear suits because they're comfy. We don't wear them even because they look good. We wear them because they're a pain in the ass. And it shows that you care about the world and about yourself, that you are willing to sacrifice comfort for prestige. I wore a blazer today because it's one of the few... Oh, hold on. Okay. I wore a blazer today because it's one of the few things that separates me from an animal. Okay, hear me out. Yeah, it's the reason I like shaving every day. It's the reason I like putting myself together. It separates me from, the average Joe, I think, in my head. It may not to everybody, and that's fine. But for me, I like making sure that I differentiate myself, that I'm a little bit different than a schlub. Because most people walking around look like schlubs, like they don't care. I don't know if they know that that's what I'm thinking. And that's, they may have their own podcast and say, who are these assholes walking around in suits like they own the place? Which, okay, fair. That's sustained, that's fine. But that's what it's like to, I don't wear, these things aren't comfortable. They're not, I mean, they actually are, but they're not, it takes a little bit of extra work, right? To do a tie. Are you kidding me? All we're doing, we're tying a piece of fabric around our necks and letting it dangle. And that to me, and that means I care. That's all that means. It's putting on a couple extra things to make yourself feel important. Yeah. I mean, my dog doesn't dress up because she's an animal. She's got low self-esteem, doesn't care what she looks like. No, she's a gorgeous little queen. Princess. She's a Morphe princess. But yeah, that's why I do it. I do it because I don't want to look like you. Not you, but the other guy who you're probably looking at right now and thinking, oh yeah, that guy does look like a schlub. Now, that's not to say that like everybody wearing a Hawaiian shirt or whatever is a schlub, because there are nice versions of those. And I think there's always going to be a way to differentiate, even in the athleisure wear, there's nice stuff and then there's schlubby stuff. Because I think even when people want to be comfortable, we still want a way to say, I'm not that guy. I'm not that gal. My yoga pants are almost the exact same as hers. It's a different shade of black. Oh, that's my pup. She's got her own brand of yoga pants. But she calls them Barkies. Hey, relax. I can't use any of this audio. I'm going to have to cut it all out. I don't know. There's nothing I can throw at her. I love how it's just pegging. I'm just going to have to cut all this. Yeah, we don't do that. Speak of the devil, here she comes. But yeah, it's uncomfortable for a reason. Like we're going to find a way, sometimes it's money that's uncomfortable. Or, if you spend a little bit of extra money, that's a way to differentiate yourself, in something that might look like everything else. I see people walking around New York. Well, just my block. That's the only place I go, really. But I see people walking around my block with it's almost like this weird shawl that looks like a brown fabric plastic bag. It's basically a fancy burlap sack. But if it says Balenciaga on the back, then it costs $2,000. Whereas I could get 80% of the same look with a bag of potatoes. And, okay, it looks almost the same, but the money part differentiated. I don't know if I like that as much. I think, and I realize this is kind of a slippery slope here, but that to me looks too much like it looks schlubby. So I think we need to go, maybe there is something about, even in the athleisure, the comfort thing, you need it to be a little bit uncomfortable to be presentable. I think that's the whole point. We need some way to separate ourselves from animals. And there's a spectrum. There's animals on one end, and it goes up from there, like sweatpants is the next, stuff you wear around the house, nice stuff you wear around the house. If you wear slippers, there's fancy slippers you can wear around, moccasins, around the house. And then there's suits and ball gowns. How long does it take a woman to put on a ball gown? An hour? 3 hours? A wedding dress. That takes all morning, right? Because it's fancy. That's the other end of the spectrum. That's the biggest. That's a spacesuit. That takes a while to put on. So maybe that's part of the spectrum too. That arguably looks pretty fancy. But yeah, anyway. So that's why I like wearing a blazer, because it makes me feel like I'm one step farther away from the homeless guy, in sweatpants. Although there was a homeless guy out back who had a red jumpsuit. I think it cost more than my my outfit. And he had nice sneakers too. I don't know where something was worth. Things were looking up for this guy. He had a nice mattress. He lived. Looks like he had a friend. He had two bikes. There were actually two bikes. I think he was maybe fixing bikes. I don't know. It looked like he had a home there. He had a living room. I don't even have a living room. He built a home underneath the scaffolding, and because the scaffolding has, lots of poles and stuff, he was able to string up tarps around the outside to give himself his exterior structure, and then he had indoor walls. I went over. We had coffee together. It was nice. Nice guy. But yeah, anyway, so that's why I wear a blazer, and I like it. I like the 50 degrees outside because that's a good temperature to wear a blazer instead of a sweater or even a coat. Throw on a jacket. Nice, done deal. 60 degrees, even 70, it's getting a little warmer. I don't like walking around as much. But again, we're back to the uncomfortable thing. I'll probably still do it. I think it's one reason I don't love wearing shorts all the time, although I'm relaxing that a little bit. Just to me, walking around shorts, I always, I guess that would be acceptable too. I always want to be like country club ready. And I guess shorts qualify. So maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I could relax that. Anything but denim shorts. I can't do that. I'm not comfortable enough with my body to do denim shorts. Granted, I didn't wear a suit. I wore denim jeans, which I know actually most country clubs probably would not accept. And I, you know what? I'm actually okay with that rule. Because I think there is, maybe now we're getting a little closer to the point. I don't know if I even had one. But I got married in a country club in Fircrest, Washington. And it's a nice club. It's an old club. And they had a no denim rule, which I wholeheartedly support. I think they might have relaxed it, that's the reason I'm not a member. In case anybody's wondering. It has nothing to do with the fact that it costs a lot of money, is arguably a pointless membership. But anyway, they used to have a no denim rule. I'm going to assume that they got rid of it. And I know a lot of people didn't like the no denim rule because you could say, oh, there's nice denim. It still looks nice. But I think it's less about what it looks like and what it signifies. Because to me, denim is comfortable. Jeans, even nice jeans, are comfortable. Even the ones that are kind of tight, they're actually kind of comfortable. They squeeze you in all the right places. It squeezes me where I want to be squeezed, I guess is my point. But I think jeans kind of signify a relaxation. This isn't my best foot. It's a comfortable foot forward, I think. Now, granted, I like wearing jeans. I wear them all the time. But I think I would still defend the club's rule to not have jeans. Because, I don't know. I think there was something to like the idea of, look, we know everybody's wearing jeans. We're still going to stick by this rule because we want you to be a little bit uncomfortable when you come here. We want you to think about what you're wearing. Because with jeans, you don't have to think. And that is the nice thing. You don't have to think. I got a nice pair of jeans. Boom. It goes with everything I own, including my jean jacket. Done deal. My denim shoes. Perfect. But I think the whole point is, no, we don't want you to have it easy here. We want it to be just a little bit annoying, a little bit difficult so that you have to think and react a little bit. Although the downside was, though, all the guys wore chinos, khakis, and, granted, they were all going to play golf. So that's really, one option, and that's a good option. But when you're not playing golf, I think chinos and khakis look even that looks, maybe, I don't know. I think it looks schlubby. No one's wearing wool pants. Wool pants always look great. Even if you're a big dude, wool pants look great. They're just classy. They're sleek. Even on big dudes, they fall right. Get them tailored. You can rock it no matter your body shape. Whereas with chinos, it feels like the word chino actually feels like a derogatory term it feels like a racial slur. A little bit. Oh God, a truckload of chinos just pulled up. Boy. Fold like an old pair of chinos. It sounds mean. And they don't look good. Boy, those chinos have seen better days, huh, guys? I don't own any chinos. I don't own I don't own khakis. For a while, I don't know if these are still in. For a while, they were making this brand of pant that was like a jean, but made of cotton. So not denim. It was like a cotton pant, I think. And it was interesting. It was I think I had like 10 pairs. Nordstrom sold them. The brand was AG. AG Jeans was selling these other pants, and those were acceptable in the club. And they looked good. They actually looked pretty good. But anyway, everybody in the club would wear chinos, khakis, and those, no matter your body type, those look terrible on you. But again, use them, you got to wear them to golf, I guess, until, Under Armour and nice brands started coming out with just more comfortable shorts, which you could, and those actually, I think, look better than chinos and khakis. Matthew Taylor, I don't know. I can't remember. It's this other brand. I'm actually wearing the shorts right now because I'm at home. No one has to see me, my dog, and she's judgmental. I did get a shoe shine today, which was amazing. Did I talk about this last time? I need to do a better job of writing down these. You know what? I don't. It's my podcast. I can do whatever I want. To my 2 listeners out there, thank you, by the way. I got the best shoe shine of my life. Second to the last shoe shine I got about a month ago from the same guy. Tiny little place. It's about the width of a closet, and it has a door and everything on 57th Street in Midtown. $5 with a $2 tip on top. And it's a phenomenal. I think a shoe shine is another way to fake looking like the 1% or like the 2%, since we've now, I think the 1% is a myth. I feel like they don't even exist. But a shoe shine is I like a shoe shine because for $5 you can bring an old pair of shoes back to life. You can protect them from the wear and tear of the city. And there's something about a man working on a pair of shoes, leather. It's so, a woman could do it too. That's fine. There's something about a human working on a pair of shoes and just buffing it. I like how it's the 21st century. We have cars that will drive themselves, but we still have shoes made out of cows. That's kind of cool. Not really if you're the cow. Probably not. But I like the shoes because, and I have a pair of shoes that they were expensive when I got them, but they've lasted me for 15 years. I've got them resold, I don't know, a dozen times, half a dozen times. But I like the fact that they're old, but it's something that works. It's heavy, it's like the joy I get out of using nice tools. I say tools, a nice computer. I don't even know what nice tools are. Is it Craftsman? Are those nice? Is that even a brand of tool? I think it is. My father-in-law has a toolbox in his garage that I think was so nice, thieves stole it. It was they broke into his garage and stole his tools at one point. It was years ago. But anyway, I like the feeling of opening those drawers because it's a nice toolbox. It's a really nice tool. I think it's even a Craftsman toolbox. It opens up nicely, it has a nice glide to it. You can shut it. Everything is in its place, neatly arranged. And I think that makes, I don't know, I'm back to the tool thing again. Those are real tools. Those are actual tools. Like a caveman would look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's a tool. A computer, he would look at it and like, that's a flat rock. That's what I bang with the tools. I don't know if cavemen were banging rocks with tools, presumably, maybe to make another tool. I'm a tool. But yeah, that's the shoe shine. I love the buff at the end. I love how simple a shoe shine is. It's leather. It's leather. It's a pair of hands. It's whatever is in the polish. I don't even know what's in the polish. Some sort of chemical. I don't care. It brings them back to life. It moisturizes them. And then the buff. He sprays water on a rag and buffs it. It's simple. It's amazing. I guess maybe with all the technology, around us, it's nice to have some things that are like simple. We have these kind of things in space. Whenever we venture into the stars and colonize Mars, Like, is everything going to look like Star Trek, where you had like everything was sanitized? It had that feeling of like everything was clean. It was beautiful. I mean, that was lovely. You go to the engine room, there was no oil. Data and LaFours were just hanging out. It looked like it had just been vacuumed in an engine room, and everything was clean. No fingerprints on those screens ever. Are you kidding me? That's an engine room. But Picard, I guess, had some rocks and stuff, in his ready room and stuff. But like, are we going to have leather shoes in space? For lounging around. Or is everything going to be metal and plastic? And there's nothing wrong with metal and plastic, but I kind of like, I don't know, there's something about analog. Like, I have a journal that's wrapped in what I assume is leather. It could be fake, but it feels like leather, and I like it. I don't know, it just feels old-timey. Am I the only one? Maybe this is why I'm not going to space. It's the main reason, really. I want my spaceship to have a leather chair. That's what I want. I want the Porsche spaceship, right? To have real knobs and everything, and a leather chair. That's what I want. Because it's human. I don't know if I think it's human, right? To like these things. Are we going to have plants in space, on our spaceships? Cup holders? That's not, that's more of a technological advancement thing. But these are, I like the old timey, the analog stuff. Not everything. I need a microphone, obviously, to do this podcast, and a camera to record the video, a computer to process it. We get all that. But I like the balance. I like my iPhone next to my leather-bound journal. I think that's a good balance, the one and one. But anyway, yeah, best shoe shine of my life. It's a treat that I'm going to give myself once a month for $5, instead of another coffee or something. It's the best. It feels so good. And you kind of feel spoiled. I feel spoiled, really, getting a shoe shine. I feel like $1 million and I only spent $5. I like the fumes. I like everything. I like the smell. Granted, the guy has to keep the door open. He has to prop the door open, which was moments ago locked. I had to knock on the glass door for him to open it. He's got a mask up and do all that fun stuff. And then he opens the door. And then I'm high on fumes. And it's fun. It's fun. It's almost like the joy I presume people get out of a massage. Somebody working on you. But this is just on your shoes. And while you're wearing them, though, that's the interesting part. You get up in there in stirrups, and it's a human doing another service for another human. For compensation. It's not whatever. But yeah, it's nice. I highly recommend a shoe shine to myself, since I'm the only one that's going to be listening to this. Yeah, it's a great way to feel good. All right. We've beaten that topic to death. What else do I have on this list? I'm so excited to hear that Bernie Sanders came out and condemned Twitter's blocking of Trump, banning of Trump. I'm excited because Bernie, I hope he still has the ear of the youngins who matter in this conversation, I think. Now, I think regardless of whether you agree or disagree with Trump, no matter your thoughts on him or about him, with him, for him, how many prepositions can we throw in front of him? I'm sure a lot of people would like to throw a lot. But regardless of what you think, I like the idea that somebody, especially on that side versus Trump, right, compared to Trump, is arguing, hey, we probably shouldn't ban a former U.S. president. Yes, all the stuff. But that's a form of institutional cancellation that I think is smart to push back on. Because we need voices we don't like. I think. Maybe that's why you're listening to this podcast, because you can't stand me. Hopefully not. But somebody might want some fodder for dinner conversation with their friends. And they can say, can you believe this idiot thought this? But I think we need annoying voices. People we hate. people we dislike or disagree with. Maybe not hate, that's strong, but people we disagree with, because then that forces us to think a little bit. And I think most people don't like thinking. If let's assume you disagree with President Trump, okay, fine. Then disagree with him. What do you have to say about it? Instead of just down and I hate him, argue. Nah, he might not be the best example because he was very polarizing, but I think we need voices that we don't like, because it forces us to think. It forces us to grow. It's almost like evolution. It's the annoying thing in nature that forces animals and forces different species to improve. If everything were just status quo, hunky-dory, always 67.5 degrees outside, we would be really good at living in 67.5. But it's not. It changes all the time. We have to get used to adapting to different temperatures. And that's, I think, great. So having the annoying voices out there, I think is phenomenal. Let's not cancel them. Let's argue against them or ignore them and work on our own things. So yeah, I'm super excited that Sanders came out and disagreed with Twitter's banning of Trump. I think the banning is almost worse than him being on, because when you ban, then that's almost kind of like fueling that fire a little bit to those people on that side. They're like, whoa, it's almost like making a martyr out of somebody who's still living. Something he said was bad enough to get banned. What? Well, that might attract a certain person who's prone to being polarized. I think. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. That's my thought. I'm very happy to hear that. Why don't we end on that good note, shall we? Let's end on the Anthony loves Trump train, I guess. And we'll leave some of the stuff next time. You guys have been so nice for listening. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, by the way, I have a comedy show coming up this Friday. The Sit Down Comedy Show, where comedy goes to take a sit, is back this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then also whatever time zone you're in, use the code POAT Comedy to get 20% off your tickets. The URL is sitdowncomedyshow.com or thesitdowncomedyshow.com. Let's just settle on one, Anthony. All right, the URL is thesitdowncomedyshow.com. Check it out. We had such an amazing turnout last week. We had Jason Chatfield was on, Charles McBee was on, and Ashley Austin Morris was on. They were all hilarious. We had a great turnout. We had 30-something people, which for my first show, I was absolutely thrilled with. The thing, if you're producing comedy shows out there, or if you've been to them or want to go to them or want to produce them, here's one thing to consider. The audio with Zoom is a little bit tough, because if you get too many people laughing, it actually supersedes the audio of the comedian. It's not like in a club where you can hear people laugh and then still hear the comic. But this one worked because we only had like 15 people with their mics turned on. And so there was enough laughter going on that you could hear there was other people there, and it felt like you were around people, humans, but there was not so much that it cut out the comedian's jokes. So it was phenomenal. I had such a great time. We've got a great lineup this week with Megan Hanley, Jane Condon, Dion Flynn. They are all hilarious. I'm super excited. And hopefully you can join me. TheSitDownComedyShow.com. Check it out. POAT Comedy is the discount code, all caps, to get 20% off your tickets. Hope to see you there. All right. Thank you for listening. You've been such a great listener. Take care. Bye.